Hello and welcome to the Digital Health Hubcast. I'm your host Hannah Clemmens, and in this episode I'm delighted to be joined by colleagues at the King's Health Partners Digital Health Hub, Lili Golmohammadi, Emelia Delaney and Lana Samuels. Together we discuss the collective creativity of co-design in digital health, a space where researchers, healthcare professionals, engineers, patients and citizens gather together to create a product or service in ongoing collaboration with all those involved in its use. Welcome Emelia, Lili and Lana to the Digital Health Hubcast. It's really lovely to see you this morning. Why don't you introduce yourselves for us?
Yeah, hello. I'm Emelia. I'm currently a postdoctoral research associate here at King's. I'm based in the engineering department, but I work within the King's Health Partners Digital Health Hub.
Yeah, I'm Lili, very similar role, in fact, to Emelia. And I have a background in very interdisciplinary background in design methods, health and wellbeing, technology, design education, and fashion and sustainability.
And hi, I'm Lana, and I'm a patient and public involvement member with a great interest in research, both physically and psychologically, sharing experiences from a community and personal perspective for improvement of all health outcomes.
Oh, that's wonderful. Thanks all for introducing yourselves. So let's start by just talking a bit more about what's brought you to this kind of healthcare space. It sounds like you're all coming from different perspectives. So yeah, tell me what's brought you to this in particular, this healthcare with King's Health Partners.
I mean, personally, I really fell into this role. I just completed my PhD here at King's, and that was very much focused on design for environmental sustainability within design and engineering processes. I worked very closely with designers in industry, and I was really looking for something new after my PhD. And I was very fortunate that the job offer really greatly aligned. Well, not the job offer, the job what's it called, advertisement really aligned with when I was finishing up my PhD, and it advertised working with a broad range of people, not only multidisciplinary researchers, but patient and public advisory groups, as well as a range of stakeholders that I'm sure we'll go into, but within digital health. And that just seemed like a really exciting space for me. And they were looking for someone with a different background to healthcare for my position, and I felt like I could really bring something from a more systems thinking engineering approach.
Yeah, so lots of overlaps with Emelia because I'm from a design background originally. But yeah, in more recent years, I've been really interested in design methods, participatory methods, ways of engaging people, understanding things, finding out about stuff. I was previously working on a project at UCL, University College London, exploring still emerging technologies that deliver a sense of touch. And one of the domains in which we were exploring those technologies was health and well-being. And my PhD was actually looking at loneliness in relation to those technologies. So yeah, there's a real thread coming through there. And then just being able to bring in also my background in design education. I'm really passionate about supporting other people with their projects. So we support such a range of people with the co-design aspects of developing their digital health innovations. So that was really exciting. When I saw the job come up, I was like, oh my God, this is perfect.
Oh, that's wonderful. And Lana, why don't you say a bit more about what brought you to working in sort of patient and public involvement and engagement?
Well, I was going to actually mention what brought me to the Digital Health Hub.
Sure, yeah.
Because what it was, I actually just completed a project with the Integrating Mental Health and Physical Healthcare Systems, better known as the IMPS project. I just completed a project with them, which was about digital devices, including apps, being used for people suffering with SMI, severe mental illness, to improve their physical health. It was engaging patients and service users within the community to engage with apps and devices and use them more positively in order for their health to be improved, their physical health to be improved, which in turn would make their health better. And that project was well received, and a lot of service users and patients and carers enjoyed the aspect of their family or themselves engaging with an app and thinking about something else rather than their illness. So they were focusing on walking, doing more steps, eating healthier. So in turn, the digital field was being utilised on a higher scale and to greater benefits for people. And then I got introduced to the Digital Health Hub, which was like, oh, this is great. I do enjoy using technology to improve our health and well-being. And so when this opportunity became available to me, I completed the application, made my interest known, and have been there ever since.
Oh, that's brilliant. I think it's worth just saying a little bit about the Digital Health Hub at King's. So why don't you, Emelia or Lili, could you tell us a bit more about sort of the overarching aims of that hub? What sort of activities you've been doing?
Yeah, so as anyone who's been listening to your podcast will know, there are 5 digital health hubs across the UK, and you're at one yourself, the South Yorkshire. So the King's Health Partners Digital Health Hub, that's made up of King's College London and 3 NHS Foundation trusts. And yeah, it's got an overarching goal to support and accelerate the development of digital health innovations that are inclusive and impactful. And we support a very, very wide range of projects. And we are specifically in the co-design team. We've got a number of teams working across the hub. We've got translation and acceleration, partnerships, training and co-design, which we'll come to in more detail. Excited to talk about that.
I think it's also worth saying that as much as our overarching goal is to accelerate the development of these digital health innovations, we are the only hub out of the 5 that focuses on co-design. So that is something that we really advocate for, and we've really enjoyed working within that space, within the broader context of our digital health hub.
Yeah, okay. So Emelia, can you define co-design for me?
I can. So co-design is the iterative process. So that means going round in a series of cycles. So it's not a beginning and end process. It kind of moves circularly. But its goal is to create or develop a product or service. But most importantly, that should be in collaboration between the people who will use and deliver that product or service. And in a digital health context, that can be anyone from patients, family members, all the way to clinicians and a range of healthcare professionals.
Yeah, I mean, it makes a lot of sense, doesn't it, that those end users will be part of the whole process. I wonder if you can distinguish between co-design and PPIE. Where does the boundary sort of lay there?
Yeah, so there are a lot of overlaps, and I think the terms are often used interchangeably, but there is quite a distinct difference between them. So PPIE, or patient and public involvement and engagement, and those groups help to shape the research. So what methods will be used, the questions, how researchers will engage with participants and almost act as co-investigators and ensure that people's lived experience is at the heart of the research project. Where co-design is more of the act of research itself. So it's a broader kind of ideology of or set of methods that will be acted on within the research process. That doesn't mean that in co-design, patient and public aren't involved. They're often very key stakeholders. But groups like we have with Lana really do help inform the research steps that we take and why we take them.
So it sounds like the methods are one of the main differences, the kind of how you're interacting with different groups of people. Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Maybe you can say a bit more about those kinds of methods then. What would I expect to see if I were to stumble into a co-design session?
So yeah, co-design is, it's got there's a great book called Beyond Sticky Notes, I think, by McKercher. And as the author says, it's got co-design's got the co and it's got the design. And that, so it's the collaboration and the design. And that often gets lost for people sometimes. I think that the actual designy bit, people, it involves this kind of range of creative methods and tools, basically. So an example might be mind mapping. So that's something we're all familiar with, perhaps in some form. Journey mapping, personas, rapid prototyping, and you use those across the process. But you can also use them in combination with other more traditional social science methods like interviews and observations, which are also really valuable. But often, actually, the design side does tend to get a little bit lost. But the value of these methods is that they help people to think in different ways. So you're not thinking, if you think about the difference between an interview, sometimes you can't come up with the, and then afterwards you think about stuff, or you want to kind of triangulate. So you use different ways of getting at something and helping people to think differently about something. So co-design methods like rapid prototyping, which is where you basically make something using everyday materials like cardboard and paper, and you just design through making, you make something physical in 3D in a very short space of time. It's a bit messy, but through doing that process, you're communicating something about, what a product might look like, and other people can understand it better. So all these methods, they help you to develop designs, share insights, communicate, understand. So that is just a really valuable process to go through.
And this rapid prototyping, would you be sort of setting aside the mundanities of what technology is possible right now, or how things would work intricately, or the detail, and rather thinking about the bigger picture, or is it something else?
It can really depend. It depends at what stage of the broader process you're in. You may be engaging in rapid prototyping as almost like this discover stage, and there's an activity like what if aliens run Earth, and what technology would they have, and thinking really outside the box. But if you're a little bit later in your design process and you're really wanting to use these rapid prototypes to inform things like form and function, you may first set some boundaries for people to think about what is possible. You may be engaging in rapid prototyping to really think about the texture of a project, how it would feel in your hand, and it would be those sort of contexts that you're exploring. But that is the true value of creative methods. It's not a one size fits all, and it can be so flexible at any stage of your journey.
Yeah. I think that's so key to say, isn't it? Lana, I wonder if you can say a little bit around these methods. Has there been anything that you've experienced that's really sort of changed how you think, or just was a really fun session?
Oh yes, within the learning about co-design and having a greater understanding for it, I actually enjoy it, because I found that all of us are experts in our own knowledge, what we know and what we experience. And I like the idea of sharing the decision. There's no power. Everybody's equal. Everybody's equal within the group. And throughout the entire design process, it's all collective and creative thinking, and the integration is all diverse perspectives and knowledge, to form a solution. So I actually find that it works well for all the projects I've actually been involved with. And the three main things that I actually, have learned from it is that co-design is definitely effective. It's definitely relevant, and ultimately it's meaningful with ultimately fit for purpose design. So I definitely am for co-design in all that we do.
Yeah, and I was just going to jump in there, Lana, because I think what you're saying around like feeling this equal partnership, especially within the context of health and digital health, employing some of these creative methods where probably no one in the room, maybe other than the facilitator, has any real professional design experience, allows people to kind of, it brings everyone down and can talk in this creative way, and it just breaks down barriers and you find different ways to communicate outside of things like medical jargon and
Yes.
technicalities, and it can be a really fun way to open up this more exploratory concept.
Well, I was going to actually say, within, I think the first couple of PPIE meetings, we members came to the opinion that they would like a glossary, and that has come into place, and now a glossary has been formed within the Digital Health Hub, which is is really useful, and it really is a good guide. And we did all get involved in it, and I actually find that it's very handy to go back to every now and again to check, just to check to make sure you have a clear understanding of a particular term or abbreviation. So that came into place very shortly after we started to meet together.
Yeah, I think it's definitely just worth noting that our PPIE group have been really fundamental in the development and shaping of all of our resources. So Lana's a perfect example because she's delivered a case study, but as she mentioned, the group really advocated for a glossary and we collaborated with them and co-designed that. And like Lana says, it's something that I even go back to ensure that the terms I'm using are accessible and understandable. But even something as simple as when we were designing the online platform, was the font size big enough? Were the colours contrasting enough? Were the links easy to access? Did it make sense? Did it flow well? All of these things has been a much broader team effort with us as researchers and with our patients and public involvement and engagement group. And yeah, it's just so lovely now that we're at a place where our online content is launched, and we're now seeing them an experience in this workshop that they're putting together as well. And it just feels like a real full circle moment now that we're about 2 years on from the launch of the Digital Health Hub. So
I
yeah.
think that's it. I think it shows. I think it's been a process, and I think that's it. It does feel like in the last few months things have really started to fully click into place, if you know what I mean. So I think it's been, and with the support of our, I just want to shout out our amazing PPIE senior officer, Annie Howitt, who's done an amazing job to kind of be that really fantastic bridge between, the PPIE group and us and the wider team at the London Institute for Healthcare Engineering, where we're based. She's been fantastic, and we're currently supporting the King's MedTech Accelerator digital health projects as well. So that's a kind of more entrepreneurship oriented program for people with digital health and medical device innovations to help them kind of bring those up to speed as businesses. We've been matching members to projects, and then we've been doing sort of tailored one-to-one sessions with them, and those have been fantastic. And the members joining those sessions, it's just a whole new kind of ball game, really. You can see these projects really taking on their feedback, and that's been very encouraging to see.
Alana, I know you've given an example at the beginning, but I wonder if you can tell us, describe another project that you've really enjoyed being a part of, perhaps with the King's Health Partners.
Oh yes, I've done quite a few projects with the King's Health Partners Digital Health Hub. I think the one that I've most enjoyed, the one that we first done together, which was the online course. I actually did enjoy preparing my particular segment for the online course, which is to help people to understand co-design and working with members of the public and service users. And I found that research element was really engaging, and that the end result did teach me quite a bit, because it showed me that even though we were all working in separate elements, the coming together of the project formed such a interactive, meaningful course. I watched it more than once. That's how good I found it, because it is so engaging, encouraging, as well as, informative. So that course that we done, the online, I can't remember the actual name of it.
Co-design for digital health.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Thank you. That was definitely a well worth meaningful project. And another one that I'm currently working on is the life cycle of PPIE. I think that's the one that's on my mind at the moment, because that's a current one. And this one will go through the whole life cycle of why we engage PPIE in projects, and how PPIE can help in a project, and to help the project shape the project and make the project more meaningful for people to see that with different life experiences and diverse backgrounds and coming from all different elements and multi-skilled, can all come together, and we can all work together to improve health for some, not the minority, but the majority. And because we're all passionate about that, the team has been put together and we're all passionate about that it seems to be just coming into place so well that that's the project that I'm currently working on, and will be available very soon.
Yeah, just to clarify, that's we're really looking forward to that. So that's an online workshop we've got coming up in a couple of weeks, and that's already been run by the group last week in person. And yeah, we've got about 125 people who have signed up to that, who are all eager to join. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been one of our most popular workshops and courses that we've run this year, and we're so happy that our PPIE group have led and organised, planned, and are now delivering the workshop. And yeah, it's so exciting, and that will be available online, hopefully by the end of this year.
That's brilliant. And just hopping back, Lana, you spoke about the co-design for digital health. So that's an online course with King's Health Partners, is that right? Yeah.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah.
And the course is, it's in segments, so you don't have to take it completely at one time. But by being in segments allows you to reflect on the different elements and to have a true understanding of each process within co-design, for anyone who's planning to implement it, to have a clear guide in order for their projects to work well.
Yeah, it's an awesome resource.
Yeah, it's free as well. Just to say, all of our resources. Perhaps we could just give a quick overview of them to contextualise everything we're talking about. So we've got these 4 free resources. One is the Co-Design for Digital Health course, which Lana was closely involved in the development of, and features in some of our case studies. So we also produced some case study videos. So Lana, there's a case study of Lana giving some advice on how to build relationships effectively with people, and how to support people to feel comfortable. Just think those kind of things that are all really important to think about. So there's lots of really useful advice there, and we've got a methods library that accompanies that with further case studies. We interviewed lots of different people about their digital health co-design innovations and processes, and we've got live recordings from our workshops, which are also free. We run workshops every month or so. Some are online, some are in person, some are both. And that covers, as Lana was saying, life cycle of PPIE, particular methods, like we've had some recently on journey mapping, co-design workshops, storytelling, and the like. And then finally, we have
live offerings as well. So we have our one-to-one booking service. So this is for people who are based in the UK, but they can book a free appointment with us. That's 30 minutes. It'll be with myself or Lili, and we can offer more personalised advice. So if they have a specific project they're undergoing at the moment and want some more key advice on co-design or a particular method, we can chat through that with them, and you can book multiple of those throughout the space of a year. And it's been so encouraging that everything has been really well engaged with, and that people are really using the entire almost network of our resources. So it's not people will maybe engage in a course and then find a method they really like and attend a workshop and then come to a one-to-one because they're then going to use that method in their own project. So we're starting to see
a nice flow.
Yeah, definitely. It's been really nice.
Yeah,
that's awesome. And I love that you offer one-to-one appointments as well, because I think often when you go through these courses and things, you just come with so many questions about how that might apply to your own work. So I think that is so helpful, just to integrate all that you've learned and figure out how you're going to use those methods with your specific group that you're wanting to work with. I think that's so helpful. I want to come back a little bit because I wanted to ask Lili and Emelia if you could perhaps talk through an example of a project where co-design has made an impact.
I'm going to actually use an example from another two of our past and present PPIE members, the fantastic Mel Getty and Paul Lennon. So I just think it's just such a great illustration of how co-design can be so powerful and effective. And that was their work on the Substance Use Recovery Evaluator, or SURE app. So that was designed to help people track their own recovery journeys and achieve personal goals. And that was developed with people at different stages of recovery, and was completely based on their own ideas and feedback. And actually, what's really interesting about the project is that it's actually been like a journey of over 10 years now. Wow. So it started out with them just developing better scales to measure and track recovery, because there weren't specific scales. And then it was actually a number of years before then I think they were starting to get feedback from their collaborators, end users, that actually it would be really great to have an app to kind of help people track this better, and then they got the funding for that. So it really evolved over time, and then they developed the app. These people in recovery, and with researchers, with a technology company, they held a series of co-design workshops, which if you're interested to learn more about it, please look on our methods library, planning and facilitating co-design workshops, because Mel Getty, she presents that project with images and talking about some of the specific methods that they use, and it really comes to life. And then what was really interesting as well, it highlights the importance of iteration, which Emelia was talking about a while ago, about things, going over things, and it's a process of refinement, and as you go. So they launched the app a few years ago, and then they started getting feedback from their networks. All these people using the app were starting to feed back to them, maybe this feature might be great, could we develop that? And they were finding actually that the app was getting picked up in lots of different countries. They had not anticipated this at all. So they got some further funding, and they've actually just continued developing, iterating it since. So it kind of shows as well how if something is really well co-designed, it really does involve those people who are going to be using what you're designing. That's going to be much more effective, much more sustainable longer term. And if you are developing, for those people who are kind of working on something more from alongside like a business angle, it makes really good business sense as well.
I'm sure a lot of us can relate. Like if you use a product or an app that is obviously no one's spoken to an actual user and you think this is absolutely useless. So yeah, it's so lovely to hear that example, that things have just exploded, it sounds like, for that app. That's really amazing. This has been so interesting. Thanks so much for your time, Lili, Emelia, Lana. I wonder if we can finish, Lana, I'd love to hear your top tips for making a co-design session fun and engaging.
Oh, wow. There are so many. Fun and engaging. I would say respect. Respect is number one. From the groups that I have attended, we are very respectful of each other. We're all coming from all different places and walks of life, and there is definitely a mutual respect within the group, which is really nice and pleasing. And you actually look forward to attending the group sessions, which always works well. Number two, I would say, if we are talking about any particular project, I think it's important to be inclusive and to have a diverse group within the setting, so that every project is shaped with everyone having an equal footing and being able to contribute what they feel would benefit that project and how it would benefit that project, and allowing the time and space for an individual to state these things without feeling under pressure or, sidelined or anything like that. Just keeping it nice and open. The third thing I think is, being transparent in all that we do. Sharing clear goals, pathways, accurate information, keeping everything as open as possible, so that we all know where we're coming from, and we all can feel a part of a growing team with the ultimate goal of improving health outcomes for all.
Oh, if I can summarise, it's respect, ensuring diversity within your group, cultivating openness within that group so people feel they can share, and then openness in another sense around transparency and clarity of information and clarity of the ask. That's what the goals are for those different sessions. And
yeah, to have that's the groundwork to then bring in the fun and engaging stuff. You've got to have that really solid groundwork. Yeah, definitely.
Fantastic. You've all been brilliant. Thanks so much for your time this morning. Where can people find out more about you?
We'll make sure to send all of our links over, but we'll send links to our course and our library, and also our workshop booking page and one-to-one booking page. But we'll also send over our link to sign up to our newsletter, and that's where you can find out first any new workshops, any new resources on our library, and we kind of update that only when needed, so we don't bombard you with loads of emails. But yeah, that's probably the best way to stay in touch with us.
Definitely. Yeah, thank you. This has been a real pleasure, and thank you for inviting us to speak to you. It's been I don't know why didn't this happen sooner? We're really delighted to finally be here with you, and thank you for inviting Lana as well to join us.
Oh, it's been an absolute treat.
Thank you.
Thank you. Huge thanks to Emelia, Lili and Lana for sharing their insights. Here's what I took from our conversation. Designing alongside the people who will use your product or service ensures it truly meets their needs and expectations, which makes good design sense and good business sense. We heard how building a foundation of mutual respect, transparency and openness helps every voice be heard, leading to better health outcomes for all. If you're inspired to learn more, check out the free resources, workshops and one-to-one support from King's Health Partners using the links in the notes. Thanks so much for listening, and I'll see you next time.